everybody, Jumbled Sunshine here. I hope you're having a good day. It is day 9, I think. Yeah, because yesterday was day 8, so that makes today day 9, right? Day 9 of Miracle Morning. So my brain is a little bit freaked out today, honestly, because I got some bad news at the doctor office yesterday. So I found out that I do need to get shoulder surgery if I want to really ever get rid of the pain and issues that I'm experiencing. So I can either put it off and have it get worse, or I can just dive in, get the surgery done, and get on the road to recovery. So we picked option 2. So I will be having shoulder surgery in the end of February. So I'm kind of freaked out about it. I mean, I've had shoulder surgery on my left shoulder a year and a half ago. It went fine. So I don't know why I'm so freaked out, but I don't know. The doctor was sitting there. He was showing me like the little model, you know, with like the little bone and then the tendons and how they connect. And then he was like showing me like where they're going to drill a hole and where they're going to like pull through strings and how they're going to attach the tendons to the side of the bone and all this stuff. I mean, it was cool. Like, I was just like, wow, that's really interesting. But at the same time, I was thinking, this is my arm we're talking about here. Ah! Even though I know I'll be asleep while they do it, I'm still going to suffer the effects of what they do when I wake up. And after they'll usually put a block, like with my left shoulder, they put a block. And so it didn't hurt at all, really, for like the first 12 to 24 hours. I don't remember exactly. And I wish that they could do that like for the first 2 weeks, make life much better. But you know, we have to balance what's good for our body with dealing with pain. And so that's just part of the way it goes. And so I'm really not excited about this, but I'm glad to have it finally resolved. So I'm kind of torn. I don't know if any of you have ever been in a situation like that. You probably have, where you know you have to go through with something difficult, and you know that, or you're pretty sure it will be better if you go through with it, but it's just scary. So anyway, last night after we finished at the doctor office, we met my family at the bowling alley, and we went bowling, and we had a really good time. And just so that you know, I can't bowl with this shoulder right now. So I had to use like the ramp thing that's for like little kids. I would pick up the big bowling ball like really carefully, both my arms. My son would like line up the thing for me, and then I'd get it on there and I'd be like, phew. And I actually did really well. Like, I mean, not really well, but really well considering I was like only half able to bowl. I got an 89, so I was actually really surprised that I did that well. We had a lot of fun, and then we went laser tagging in the same little facility, and that was really fun. There's 8 of us there. We had the red team and the blue team, and my team won, I just have to say. But I got like 6th place out of 8 personally, so it was mainly because my 2 oldest sons were on my team, and they're both really good. So it was a lot of fun. We just had a good time as a family. We picked up pizza on the way home. So I encourage you to think of fun things to do with your family when there's like a day off school or something. And I haven't always done that. I've often been like, yay, it's a day off school. We don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to do anything. And we just kind of all chill around the house, which can be fun too. And if we do an activity, it's like, well, let's order pizza and get a movie and watch it here, because then you don't have to get like dressed up and go anywhere, right? I read a book, and it's by Vanderkam, and it's called 168 Hours. She talks about how there's 168 hours in a week. And how if you like set out a grid of all your 168 hours, you start with like a blank slate and you go like, wow, I actually have a lot of time, and you have to put in some sleep and you have to put in your work hours or whatever. But kind of the idea of that you have more time than you think you have. She encourages you to do a log for a week and figure out what you're spending your time on, and then compare that to your list of like, if you were to say, hey, this is my ideal life and these are the things I want to be doing, how does your week of what you're actually doing match up with what you would like your life to look like? And it's insightful. I actually kept a log for a week. It was quite interesting to see the areas that were being not focused on that I think that I'm really passionate about. It's an interesting thing to do. I would recommend that book if you're interested in that sort of thing. She talks about when you have like a 4-day weekend or something, don't just like say, oh, yay, and not plan anything. it seems contradictory to plan your leisure time, but at the same time, I mean, aren't there like places that you always think like, oh, we should do that with our family sometime. That would be fun. So we all think about these awesome things that we could do, but then when it's a day off, instead of planning something to do, we just say, I'm going to kick back and chill. Maybe you're not that way, but that's kind of how I was getting. And I was more enthusiastic when my older kids were little and I had a lot more energy. But, I haven't had as much energy as I've gotten older and dealt with health issues. Anyway, I just encourage you to think about that a little bit. You don't have to do something that costs money. I mean, you can drive up the canyon. Well, if you live by mountains, here, one of the things a lot of people do is drive up the canyon and they'll like make a little campfire and, or roast hot dogs, things like that. There's lots of free things you can do. You can go, there's different museums and things that are free and made for families. So there's a lot of variance that you can do. Maybe your activity is, hey, we're going to go in the backyard and play badminton, and you do that for an hour. But you just say, on this 4-day weekend, this is one activity we're going to do, and then we're going to have this really cool dinner. Maybe we're going to get out the fancy silver and like teach the kids manners or something. I don't know. My mom used to do that. It was really cool. But anyway, there's lots of things you can do. So I just encourage you to do fun things with your family because I really, really enjoyed it. And I was glad I did it. It really lifted my spirits because I was really like still having it sink in that I was going to have to get shoulder surgery. And I was just like, do I have to do this? But like, help me not think about it. So anyway, came home, got to bed nice and early and woke up feeling like stressed. And actually I woke up at 5:55 without the alarm going off. So that, again, a miracle. Miracle for sure. So I just turned the alarm off and I actually snuggled with my hubby for a little while because I was feeling sad and I was feeling nervous and I just needed like a little bit of reassurance. So that was good. And I got up, got dressed, got breakfast, visited with a couple of my kids, sent them off to school. I went ahead and did my exercise first thing because I was browsing at Facebook, which I probably shouldn't have been doing because I should have been doing my Miracle Morning, But you know how the notifications will be there, and so you're like, ooh, cool. So I was looking at those, and my sister-in-law that does the exercise challenge had just posted, so I was like, hey, family, you guys should come do this with me. So my husband, he came and did the little 5-minute challenge, and it was lunges, 30 on each side, and that was good. I sat down. I did some reading, and then it was kind of interesting. I was going to just say, well, that's good, and I'm going to scribe, but I was kind of just feeling depressed, and I was like, I don't feel like scribing, but I knew that it would help, but I kind of didn't feel like it, so I was kind of fighting with myself over it. And my 6th grader woke up and was getting ready to go to school, so I visited with him for a while, and that kind of cheered me up because he was in a good mood, so that was good. I was like, oh, maybe I should do a little more reading. As I opened up my Chromebook to get to 750words.com to do my scribing, it had the pages open from yesterday, and one of them was the 30-day quick start kit. And so I was like, well, I'll just read what question 3 says. But this is what it said, and I was just like, what? I don't know if you've ever heard of the concept of a tender mercy, which is like when something happens that just seems like it's kind of God being merciful or mindful of you, just kind of being aware of you and where you're at. Because I mean, I really should have done these questions before I even started doing my 30-day challenge, right? Yes. But I didn't. I've been slowly doing them each day during like my reading and scribing time, but I haven't been doing them every day. So it just happened to be that the day after I found out that I was going to have surgery and I was super stressed and fearful about it, that this was the question. Okay, clarity question 3. Which fears are holding you back from achieving your level 10 life? That just seemed to jump out at me. I mean, the fact that it was about fear, I was like, well, that's interesting. Maybe I should go ahead and read the whole thing. So it said, oftentimes it is our deepest fears, which are usually below the surface and we don't give much thought to, that are holding us back from going to the next level and achieving everything we want in our personal or professional lives. While most of us would prefer to not focus on our fears because it's usually no fun thinking about or acknowledging what we're afraid of, doing so is absolutely crucial to overcoming them. You may have heard it said, there is nothing to fear but fear itself. Or face the fear and the fear will disappear. You may have also heard this acronym for fear, false evidence appearing real. All of these are true. Fear disappears in the midst of doing what we're afraid of, because our fear is almost always of the unknown or the worst possible scenario, which almost never comes true. When I read that, I was just like, yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm thinking of like, well, what if this happens, or what if that happens, or what if, I'm just like all worried, but almost everything I'm thinking about is like, what's the worst possible thing that can happen on the day of my surgery? So I read that and I was just like, wow, okay. Apparently I need to just deal with this fear and like face it head on. And today I wrote about my fear about my shoulder surgery. So I'm like, I just found out this and I'm really stressed out about it and everything. So that was good. It was good to just get my feelings out on paper. And then since then, I've been thinking this morning, I've just been thinking about, okay, what are the steps that I can take now to alleviate some of those fears or to help encourage the best possible scenario? For instance, I could talk to my friend who's a physical therapist and see if there's some exercises I could do that would strengthen, first of all, my left arm, because it still has a little bit of pain because there's some arthritis in the AC joint. It's the one I'm going to have to be relying on when this one's in a sling for 6 weeks. So anyway, I could take some steps to fix that. That's just an example. There's other things I can do. There's guided imagery that you can do, like leading up to when you're going to have your surgery, that can just kind of help you be calm. And I can do some things around my home to make sure it's kind of ready for me to be down for 2 months. Anyway, just kind of facing it and saying, it'll be fine. Like I was talking to my 6th grader, he's going into junior high next year. And he said, the one thing that I'm kind of nervous about is that I'm going to forget my locker combination, and it just like took me back like boom to going into 7th grade. And it was like, how am I going to find all my classes and remember my combination and deal with all these different teachers? And, that's like a tough transition. But, looking back now, I mean, I've gone through junior high, high school, college, did just fine. So the point is that a lot of times the things we're afraid of don't happen, because do you really think he's going to forget his locker combination? I don't think he will, because he's really smart and he's good with numbers. We need to encourage ourselves. And I found a couple quotes today, and I really liked this one. I actually shared it on my Facebook page. I actually have a page for Jumbled Sunshine. If you're interested in liking it and seeing what I post on there, it's facebook.com/Jumbled Sunshine. This is the quote. It says, "On particularly rough days when I'm sure I can't possibly endure, I like to remind myself that my track record for getting through bad days so far is 100%. And that's pretty good." I really liked that because it's true. I mean, if I go back and list all the different things I've gotten through, like, this is nothing. I mean, I've given birth to 7 babies, I mean, that's tough in and of itself. And then I've been raising them, and that's tough, So we can do it. We can do it, ladies and gentlemen. So I just encourage you not to be scared of whatever you have going on in your life that's scary right now. Oh, there's one other quote. It was really good. And I actually made it the background, the wallpaper on my phone, because I was like, this one's really good. I need to repeat it every day. It says, "Fear is the brain's way of saying that there is something important for you to overcome." So if you're afraid of something, there's probably something important that you need to overcome. Now, it could be that you're afraid of something because it's actually scary and dangerous and you need to run away from it. But most of the time, I think, especially our mental fears, are not actually reality. They're just our mind making a big deal out of them. And I did see another one that was really good. So it takes the acronym FEAR, and it says, "Forget everything and run," FEAR, forget everything and run, so that's running away, or face everything and rise. I like that. And it says it's your choice. So you can forget everything and run, or you can face everything and rise. So the next time I think I'm scared, I'm going to say fear, face everything and rise, and help that to motivate myself. So anyway, I wrote about that today, and And then I pretty much just like was done because I was really tired. I think there's something about being stressed out about something that like really makes you weary, and I wanted to take a nap. My kids had gone off to school, and I know some of you can't do that because your kids are little. I mean, sometimes I would like put on Barney. Like, I raised my kids when Barney was a big thing. Like, I'd turn on Barney and I'd just lay there on the couch and they were sitting there, you know, so I was in the same room with them, you know, had the baby gates or whatever so they couldn't escape, and turn on Barney and they'd all just stare at it, you know, and I could lay on the couch and sort of doze for 30 minutes. You moms know what I'm talking about, right? But anyway, mine were at school, so I took a nap, and I did kind of visualize my day, but it was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna finish this, and then I'm gonna go take a nap, and then I'm gonna get up and decide what I'm doing the rest of the day. So my visualization was sort of like lame. So today I accomplished my exercise, my reading, my scribing, my visualization ish, and I totally forgot to do my affirmations. I did do a little bit of planning, just briefly. I just kind of glanced at it to make sure I wasn't forgetting anything important. Anyway, that is my report for today. I hope that if you have a fear, that you can learn how to face it and rise. This is Jumbled Sunshine. See you tomorrow.